Oh my
She
God,
is
this
playing
nightgown.
power. Oh my God.
It's a quilted nightgown. She is
Hmm.
wearing a bedspread
I don't know. Maybe she's just protecting her skin from the sun.
inside at night in Idaho. They love hiring hot people as bastards in the
They
show.
really do. He is very fun to look at.
He gives good clavicle.
Look at that hair, though. It looks like a
It's
helmet.
that Blagojevich. Oh no, he is
That's
wearing
it.
pants. And then it ends with them grinning at the tombstone. Look at that. They're so happy. Cheerful orchestral music as they stare at the.
I'm so delighted to be at the cemetery, celebrating the death of my father-in-law and husband. I just find it delightful.
Hands up or I'll shoot! Tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
H has been covering up a murder.
Full of a lot.
It's a lot right
A lot of
off the
tension
bat.
already. Yeah.
When you run in with a gun, no less.
A
Hi,
big-ass gun, too.
I'm Victor Devon,
I'm petrified.
and
And
this
this
is
is Tonight on Murder, She
on Murder
Wrote.
She Wrote.
Vroom, vroom, baby.
Vroom vroom. This is where we talk about the show, the people in it, where we recognize them from. If we can figure out what made Jessica figure out. Sometimes it's really clear, and sometimes it's a bit of a stretch. And we like
Yeah,
to acknowledge those times because you know what? That just shows how insightful she is. It's not bad writing.
not
It's
at
not,
all.
it's just we're not as in tune.
She's just really on the ball, and we have to catch up.
Exactly.
We also
And who
objectify beautiful
better
people sometimes.
who
Can't
better
forget that.
to figure it out than two very gay theater enthusiasts
You're
who
gay?
I know who perform on stage and play with makeup. This is it. This is clearly
You found your people.
my people.
This is where you want to be.
This is season 3, episode 20, The Cemetery Vote, which if you are familiar with the concept, it is addressed in one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons when Sideshow Bob runs for mayor and it doesn't
Hmm.
quite line up who voted for him because we find out that technically many of the people who voted for him are dead. Um,
Ta-da!
that's called the cemetery vote.
I believe that's also the conceit of Black Sheep with Chris Farley and David Spade. Did you ever see that?
I did not know,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
familiar that it exists. That was what next to what was the other one that
It
they
was like
did?
the follow-up to Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy. That's
Tommy
it. I was
Boy,
gonna say
yeah.
Danny Boy. Danny Boy's a
Right.
different thing.
No Danny Boy.
Which is
Uh,
interesting because the cemetery vote is a great title.
yeah.
It doesn't have a lot to do with this episode.
I think they probably chose it because it sounds spooky and murderous, when in fact it's just a
Yeah.
small abstract detail of the plot. It's
It's
okay.
just to
I'm okay
illustrate
with it.
how someone is got the job under,
Yeah.
duplicitous circumstances.
Hmm.
And we see him right away. Um,
Oh yeah.
so we enter in this junkyard. Well, it's not really, I guess it's sort of like an impound lot.
Impound lot. This is totally the police impound lot.
Yeah. But a lot of
This.
the vehicles are of different quality because some
Oh
of
yeah.
them are, yeah.
Including the one our old geezer here is driving.
He bounds through the gate.
And it
That's
just
I
pops
got
off. Ain't no thing.
just right.
No damage to the
You
truck.
usually need some momentum.
Yeah. He
And
had
he
like
just
four
sort of
feet.
says, I know. Yeah.
So I don't think it's a very
So,
secure lot in that case. That chain link fence is not doing its job.
well, they're not really worried about anyone stealing their vehicles because automatically it's probably a trespass even to get in there. So
Yes,
they
yes.
don't care really. Ooh, we have this very handsome young sheriff. They love hiring hot people as bastards in the
They
show.
really do. This is Deputy Wayne, and he is very fun to look at.
He has this bedside moment where he's extra douchey
Oh,
and makes you think about all the bad choices one could make.
truly. Why
But
does he
he's
have to be so
manhandling.
pretty?
I know.
He
Pretty.
manhandles a lot of people in this episode.
And then we have this
We
old
go right
man.
back to him.
What's his name here? Let's
Harry. This is
see.
Harry.
Harry Stevens,
Yeah.
as played by John McLeam. He was trying to get into this car that had like this massive crash dent
Yeah,
basically.
on the driver's side. Pretty icky.
Yeah,
And he's having this terrible run-in with the law here. So we
the
have
law.
Deputy Wayne, who put him in a chokehold, which frankly, anytime I see a police officer putting someone in a chokehold, I get so anxious about it.
It's so uncomfortable.
Did
I
this not
know.
trigger you rewatching
It's a
this? I felt
little,
like, oh God, it's
yeah.
too on the nose. It's too on
Uh,
the nose.
well, that's the thing is that we say that things aren't different. We just now have cameras.
Bingo.
So, but we have
And
this
then,
older sheriff
mm-mm,
that stops him. That's Sheriff Orville Yates, as played by Ed Lauter. And
right.
he's just sort of like, oh no, stop. Don't hurt him. Uh
You don't care.
I know. Now as someone who lives in Southern California, where the sheriff is a bit of a nightmare here, who is
Mm.
also running for governor, this is a little bit of a parallel. I feel just a
Oh,
tad related to
yeah.
here.
I don't like that.
Um, yeah. And our sheriff is also the coroner, which seems like a massive conflict of
Oh,
interest.
you're kidding.
No, no, yeah, it's
Jesus. So this must be very triggering for you. You know what the
you gotta,
tone of this?
yeah,
The tone of
yes,
this is very like powder keg. Like this is an episode with not a lot of
yes,
levity in it, right? It's not fun,
yes.
not funny. Everything is very dire and serious and corrupt. Lots
If
of,
it wasn't for Kate Gunnerson, who we'll see in a little bit, it
yeah,
would be a total bummer.
totally agree. She is the
Um,
shining, smoky voiced light in this episode.
so we meet Linda, who is Jessica's friend, summer
Whatever.
student. What
She
did we
refers to
say?
her as a friend. She refers to her as a friend later, and that's it. And Grant, we don't need to know more. That
No, but
this sort
sometimes
of casual
they
friend,
really lay it on.
yeah,
And she not only knew her, but she knew her now dead husbands. So
right.
they're at the cemetery, not to vote, but to mourn.
No,
Um, this
to
is a
clean the
very
headstones.
familiar outfit for Jessica. I recognize this blouse. She's worn it before
This sort of
with
taupe
the pussy bow.
with the polka dots. Yeah, I like it paired with this blue blazer.
Gorgeous blue.
Beautiful on
Gorgeous,
her.
gorgeous blue.
Deep,
Um,
almost denim like, but not.
Midnight blue.
Love it. Yeah,
So she's with Linda here, and Linda is just a wreck. She's just
Linda's
a
a mess
bundle
the
of
whole time.
nerves.
Yeah,
She is
Linda with
styled
her. Go
oh,
for it.
she's styled like a lot of how like contemporary women in Cabot Cove, and also how what
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton's sister, like there's just a styling dowdiness to
Hmm.
her. And I don't recall that from the 1980s very
I
often.
don't
Usually when we
either.
think of the 80s, we think of fashion, we think of going out, we think of, like the simplicity patterns.
It's almost like a leftover idea from small town America. This like sweater
Schlumpy.
vests and buttoned up shirts and long skirts that go below the knee. It's almost like this woman went to school in the 50s and 60s and she's just not changed her style one bit since, right? It's
Yeah,
dowdy. It just gets
yeah, it's
older
very
and more matronly.
Midwestern. And well, this is where
Yeah.
is this? So we take place, is this Iowa?
This is
Uh,
Idaho.
Idaho.
Potato Central.
Oh, but we have this handsome man here. I do love Bruce Davison.
Me too.
Bruce Davison is also running for mayor.
We know him from I know him most from X-Men as the slimy politician that gets
Senator
turned
Keeley.
into a
Yeah.
mutant. Or yes, the senator.
Senator
Yep.
what's his name? It's not Senator Keeley. What's his name? Senator Kelly. That's
Senator
it.
Kelly, yep. And he's the one that turns to goo. But his younger self is very cute. Oh
Very
my. He is
handsome.
very cute.
I mostly think of him first from there's this book called Cakewalk, which is about Lillian Hellman, the writer who went through the House of Un-American Activities and refused to talk. And she's very
Mm.
famous for saying, what is it? I shall not cut my conscience to fit this year's fashions. I think
Oh
that's a
yeah.
yeah. And he plays like her younger love interest. Yet and protege, and Elaine Stritch is Lillian Hellman, and it's this sort of it's the book, but it's also like it's like a an audio play basically.
Right.
So, but let's establish where the hell we are.
Let's talk about
So,
what's going on. Yeah, that's fair. We're concerned with the sweater vests and the beautiful faces.
oh, he's so
Priorities.
handsome though.
Priorities.
He's another one who's he might disappoint us. He might disappoint us.
You
They love a
know,
bastard.
this is, I mean, not to spoil too much, but it's a really great misdirect to give us a friendly face, right?
I love that we're worried about spoiling.
For a
Now,
series that's over
admittedly,
30 years old. Yeah.
no, and I respect that because not everyone's gotten to it. But if they've gotten to us, they've probably gotten to
I
it.
should hope so.
If
And if
not,
not, they're listening to us for our charm and our
oh,
enthusiasm. So thank you.
listen, thank
Thank
you.
you.
So in Idaho, they're running for mayor, and this is probably like some small little fictional town, but we meet. All right, let's talk about our major players. So I'm going to pause it for a second so we
Yeah.
can catch up. Okay, there's a dead man.
He
He is
was the
buried,
mayor. This dead man was the mayor. And
and he died
this,
under some people think suspicious circumstances, but his wife says it was an accident, and she says it was such certainty that you can either say, oh, she's either covering something, or no, more likely she just can't deal with it.
she's just in utter denial about what is possible here.
It would have been more fun, frankly, if she had been behind
Right.
it. But we
Thank
love when
you.
the
I
women are the
agree.
killers.
I was
Yeah.
hoping. I was hoping.
Can you imagine if
Alas,
she was
no.
involved with our actual kill? Oh, good
What?
stuff.
See, they're a cute couple. She's a handsome lady, I will say. She's very beautiful,
She's very pretty.
despite the
Yeah.
styling. And also
Ellen
her Sue
Bry.
Snell Carrie haircut. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's like the best. She's like
Oh, I mean,
the,
I wouldn't go quite Sue Snell, but yes, I know
well,
what you
just
mean.
you wait. I'm telling you later, it looks just like
Oh,
her.
it comes in. Our
Yeah.
oh, what was it? Our wrong number episode. What is it?
Crossed up.
Crossed up.
Yeah.
Our ingenue in that one has very Sue Snell hair, and
Yes.
that occurred to me
Yes.
much after we recorded.
I was watching this.
Yeah,
I was like, is
she's.
that girl? Is no, it's not that girl, but boy, she's giving her.
I don't
Uh,
know her very well from anything else, but
mm,
I'm amused. One of her major credits is that she was in the Amazing Spider-Man TV show, the live action.
no shit.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah,
her.
which lasted 14 episodes. I have a feeling it just didn't land
Not
in
quite it.
1977.
This is Ellen Bry, who's playing
Yes.
Linda.
Or Brie,
Um,
I'm not sure. It could go either way.
yeah. Well, and so the old man at the beginning who was breaking into the impound lot to inspect this wrecked car, he was the father of the now dead mayor.
So her father-in-law,
Yes.
and
And
he
there
believes,
he believes it was not an accident. He believes there was foul play afoot.
and he was going into the car because he thinks there's some sort of evidence in that car where the man died,
Right.
where his son died,
Right.
that would lead to whatever.
Hmm. And our
Bruce
slimy
Davison,
sheriff and deputy, they threw him out.
mm, yes,
By the
because they
way,
are complicit.
our Sheriff Yates, he is such a seedy guy, right?
Mhm.
He is literally hired to play gross, icky guys. He has kind of a Jackie Earl Haley vibe to him, just a bigger frame.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
You
see him
know
playing
what?
Freddy Krueger,
Job
you know what I mean?
security, man.
Hey,
I
if you
know
got a face
we
like that,
sometimes
capitalize on it.
you can tell when particularly a leading actor type gets frustrated when they get pigeonholed and they
Hmm.
get, but sometimes the supporting casts like lean into it. Elsa Lanchester made a career out of it.
Honestly, let's all be a Judy Greer in this world.
Yeah, and then sometimes it does pan out. And I understand also for a lot of folks, depending on the type of like genre films is a big concept of
Hmm.
you wouldn't necessarily think of them as quote leading men like your Brad Pitt type or
Yeah,
your Ryan Gosling.
right.
But to a certain degree, some I think in horror particularly, we saw this with Amy Madigan, and we see this with Jamie
Yeah,
Lee Curtis, and we see this
totally.
with I mean, Demi Moore just had the substance return, and there's a certain if the item is done with enough prestige, but we would never. Well, we might, but I wouldn't automatically consider Toni Collette a character actress. But by all means, she is.
She absolutely is. She's a chameleon, which
Yeah,
is what you want to be as a character actor. Well, it's funny you say that because we're talking about the woman playing Linda Stevens here, and she's a very beautiful, like conventionally attractive, lovely lady. But I wonder if because she lacks a certain idiosyncratic quality or distinction, if she easily blends in, right? Which is why
you
maybe
need
she's
those
not as
roles too.
distinct, right?
But
Yeah,
you would that's why you hire her for this kind of role because
right.
if you hired Karen Black for this role, you'd be waiting for
Oh,
her to do something
honestly, the whole time. I know I
the whole
would.
time.
The whole
Um,
time?
yeah. Well, we had that also. I mean, again, the sort of beige painted women that are we see them
Mm.
in oh that I'm for some reason really struggling with titles today. The episode where with Adrienne Barbeau and where she's the producer, there was that sort of love interest character who's sort
Oh,
of like,
murder is
"Oh,
the
I'm worried
bottom
about my
line.
husband." Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
she's just a means to an end.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
So
those
she
are all our
doesn't want to
characters so far. Yeah.
so far. Bruce Davidson. Oh, and then of course Bruce Davidson has George McDaniels as played by Joseph Campanella, who we've seen in Sticks and Stones, and
Hmm.
also as our policeman friend in The Golden Girls.
You mean
Our love
Al?
interest. I mean Al.
Al.
Later.
God, I'm crazy nuts about this guy.
He is his advisor essentially, right? Or his
Right.
campaign manager.
Something. I don't even really know what his role is. He's not in it a lot, but he has presence. So I appreciate him being
Yeah,
there. I
I
don't
think
really
he's
need
his
to know what
campaign
his role
manager.
is. Yeah.
And then we'll meet some other folks as we go because this is a large cast.
And a lot of roads that offshoot roads in this episode. Like
Yes,
we go a lot of different directions.
yeah. It actually reminds me a little bit of Sticks and Stones, which again Campanella was in because the big three, the conspiratorial
Hmm.
three, and again the sort of Betsy Palmer, gravel
Yes.
voiced.
I
You're
can't
not
wait to
getting
get to
enough
her.
Orville. I love her. I love her. All right.
Yeah.
So they're gunning for Davis, not
Trying to get
Davidson.
David
Davidson's the
Carroll. Is
actor.
Bruce Davison plays David Carroll.
Davis and David. That's what I keep doing. Okay.
Davison David. David
Yeah.
Davison. We'll call him that. He's gunning for
Uh,
mayor. And so what they're setting up is that the sheriff is corrupt and he's going for mayor and he may likely engage in some illegalities to get that vote. And then David is set up as the virtuous good guy who's going to change things and he's going to step into the seat of this dead mayor and continue doing good work in this corrupt system town. So, very clean, very
yeah.
very dichotomous, right? Right off the bat.
Yeah. And it's never that easy. It's
No.
never that easy.
And I'm glad it's not too. If that's how it ended, I would be a little disappointed, a little bored with it. So, but it also does make you wonder right up front, like they're not telling us something here. We're going to
Well,
find out something that complicates this.
this is another episode where our murder victim exists already
One of
in
them.
the ether. Yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah.
But the murder victim that we're talking about, because we don't know about the other one yet. Yeah, I know. The our Maltese Falcon, our reason for everybody being kind of on edge and worried about what's to come is already dead.
Right.
And that doesn't happen a lot on this show. And it would have been interesting because sometimes they do that in like the very first scene, they just kill the person right off so that we can get there.
Yeah.
Like we do that with like our David Tolliver, we do that with
Murder at the
um
Oasis. Wait, no, is that
yeah.
not? No, I'm the one in the one now I'm getting my titles wrong. Where Jessica's wearing the purple gorgeous look. Oh, season 2 opener.
Oh,
Widow, weep for
yes.
me.
Widow Eat for Me. Yes, yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
lose
Yes,
our
yes,
we get
yes.
our victim right off the bat.
Real quick. And they're
Yeah.
usually, older women.
Yeah.
Here it's a young guy,
Yeah.
a
Womp
contemporary
womp.
of the age of his
Yeah.
wife, potentially. So Jessica is now at the impound to argue with Yates. Can we get a little? Let's get a little
I think this is a
of their
great scene to
banter.
set up the tension between the two of them because they really are the two forces here, right?
Yeah. Well, there's this is another one where because like similar to Powder Keg, although there was virtuous police work there as
Yeah,
well. It's not just it's the rotted element of the law is the
yeah,
issue here.
that is it,
So,
right?
and that's rough. Like that, like
Because
corruption.
the system is already set up against these people,
Yeah. And these are
not
all,
just the community, but the system
middle
itself.
class white people. But can you imagine?
Yeah,
All right, let's get
everybody's
a
afraid of the
little.
sheriff.
So the car's missing. They
One day
went back
later,
to the impound lot and the car is gone.
You folks have a problem?
What did you do with Jim's car?
Wayne, you know anything about a missing car?
Well, last week you told me to clean this area up. That old piece of junk was a terrible eyesore.
Yates, that car was an important piece of evidence you conveniently got rid of.
That what you think, Miss Stevens?
That car is my property, Sheriff. I want it returned immediately.
Well, now, I'd like to oblige you, ma'am, but this is a big county with lots of junkyards. And by now, it's probably been shoved into some compactor and scrunched up to the size of a suitcase.
I don't think you understand, Sheriff. The court order directs you to return the car to Mrs. Stevens. I mean, surely you don't want a violation of the law hanging over your head just before election time.
You must be from out of town.
He's not used to being spoken this way.
Folks around here know better than to make threats against the sheriff.
Where I come from, folks don't have to make threats. The sheriff upholds the law.
Sort of.
I don't believe I caught your name.
if he's capable.
Unless they wanna pretend that there's that dead body.
Oh, geez.
Oh, here she is.
To make threats.
Right into it.
The sheriff upholds the law.
I don't believe I caught your name, ma'am.
Just who the hell is this Jessica Fletcher?
Oh, I love her.
Oh,
How was this Jessica Fletcher?
What kind of book?
I don't know what kind of books. Why are you taking up reading, Kate?
Strangers make me edgy.
Oh, I adore her.
Smart of you, Orville. Making Jim Stevens.
She
her
is
voice is outstanding.
outstanding. Mary Windsor, everyone.
Mary Windsor.
I just adore her. She is cut from a cloth that we love on this. She gives me a little Lisa Kirk vibes. I don't know if you're familiar with Lisa Kirk. She was in Kiss Me Kate, and she was also the singing voice for Rosalind Russell.
Oh, no, no shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I actually think
Um,
that she has a Sylvia Sidney quality to her, who
yes.
played
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Juno in Beetlejuice, right?
Same cloth.
I actually
Same
thought
cloth.
they were the same person when I started watching this again, and then I had to confirm that,
Very,
oh no.
very similar. And that is
Hmm.
further amplified when she returns in season 7 for Who Killed JB Fletcher. When she's one of the
Mm,
ladies, the Mystery Club ladies. But yeah, Betty
yes.
Garrett. There's this. I mean, Angela Lansbury to a certain degree. I mean, while she doesn't have that gravel voice, these are the type
Right.
of women who probably were all going for the same parts. Glynis
Definitely.
Johns, like they all would have
Oh,
been.
sure. Wouldn't you love to be in a room with all those ladies at once?
Yes, yes, I
I
would.
might implode.
I know you have. I know you finished. You finished Snoop Sisters, yes, or do you still have more to go?
No, I still have some to go. Yeah.
There's also, I believe, in the version that I sent you, um, do not fold, mutilate, or spindle, or do not fold, spindle, or mutilate. I forget the order. Where Sylvia Sidney's in it,
Oh
alongside Myrna
shit.
Loy and a few other ones. It's not quite Snoop Sisters, but
Mhm.
it's in the same vein. And I think they either included it because it's the same producers or the same something.
Yeah.
But also spectacular,
Spectacular.
spectacular.
Well, and I couldn't help think when I was watching the episode that Mary Windsor in this role as Kate Gunnerson, she's not in a lot of it, but wow, does
No,
she
she's
have a
impactful.
presence? She
She's got
really,
three
no
really
one,
big scenes.
yeah, and she owns each scene. She is in charge with, and she's always in scenes with men. She is always in charge of the scene.
Right, because she's with the Yates here.
Hmm.
It wasn't too smart of you, Orville. And this other gentleman, I
Stokes, I
don't know
think.
if He's not meant to be like a love interest or a husband or anything. He's just also a
He's the one who's
corrupt
well, so there's this illegal gambling club happening in this town, and it's happening at his warehouse,
his
Stokes' warehouse.
warehouse.
So that's how he's sort of in the plot. He doesn't do much here other than sort of hover in the background and look nervous because he's
And
clearly
she
being
helped.
controlled by these people, right?
This is very Twin Peaks right here. This gives
Hmm.
me like Twin Peaks by way of Sorted Lives.
Sure. Ooh, good call.
Yeah. But they're in her Kate's restaurant, Kate's little bar here.
Hmm.
Wood panel. Oh, that faux I don't it's not Tiffany, but you know what I mean, that stained glass
Yes.
overhead lighting
It's
situation.
it's very like west northwest, right? It's very Idaho,
Yes.
Montana, lodgy.
I mean, I remember parts of this Connecticut too. One of my favorite places, Alphas, was they served Greek pizza. This is very much of that.
Mm.
I'm getting memories of Alphas here.
It brings you back.
It brings me back, which makes sense because this is meant to indicate sort of like this small town where a centralized population. This is
Hmm.
like,
Everybody knows
it's
everybody in these spaces,
everybody
right?
knows everybody.
Everybody has a front-facing role and everybody has their true power in the community, right? And that's
Yeah,
what's really fascinating about this because she's just a restaurant owner, but we know she has way more influence than that from the first scene alone
right,
because
right.
she's already sort of strong-arming the sheriff to take care of things. So what is her role? Who knows?
Who's to say? Oh
But
my
she
God,
is
this
playing
nightgown.
power. Are you talking? Oh my God. Jesus.
It's quilted. It's a quilted nightgown.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
God. Oh my God. Victor, this looks like the couch that Jessica spilled black tea on.
Oh my God. I don't know
It's
why I've
so
never
bad.
really acknowledged it before. And it's so schlumpy. This is a
This
woman
is like
who
an
deep in mourning. You know how
1890s or something, right? Like it is
some people, when they
old
lose their husband,
style.
they get really slutty? No, she went in the opposite direction. She is
Mm-mm.
wearing a bedspread
I don't know. Maybe she's just protecting her skin from the sun.
inside at night in Idaho. Unless anyone would be curious, all of this was filmed in California. I did
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Even the impound lot is Sun Valley. But it's a pretty house though.
I
Very
know.
familiar.
Gorgeous, actually.
Sort of Americana.
It is very like big mansion meets farmhouse.
I know, and I wish they actually, because IMDb sometimes gets very specific with their locations. It doesn't here. I
Mm.
feel like we've seen this house. I
It
feel
does
like
feel,
this
even this like door frame looks almost like the entry to Jessica's bedroom when she's
a
reading her
little
Murder in a
bit.
Minor Key, right? Not the staircase, but
No,
God, this
but like
nightgown.
like every once in a while, like you see things and you're like, oh, that's the stairwell from Scream 2 with Sarah Michelle
Yeah.
Gellar runs up, and you're like, oh, that was in such and such. Like it's just
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
so distinctive.
So they're up making the
So
bed, these two ladies, Jessica and Linda, and they hear somebody downstairs. Oh no, someone's broken in. So she grabs this giant shotgun from the closet, and Jessica says, "Do you know how to use it?" And she's like, "Not really." What?
it was her husband's. It was her
This
husband's.
this is how home accidents occur, people.
This is exactly how it works.
Jesus. They
Well,
could have
the
killed
thing
it
about
was
a
just Harry. It was just Harry. She
a
could have
thing
shot
about a
Harry.
rifle, I'm leaving you the fuck alone. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
actually have to prove to me that you know how to use it. In fact,
Uh-huh.
you not knowing how to use it is a little bit more
It's even
concerning to me.
scarier, yeah. I'm gonna back up as quietly as possible and get the hell out of there.
God, as she slumps down
This
the stair,
it's as big as her, this gun.
I'm so focused on the nightgown. I can't help it.
Meanwhile, Jessica's in like a conservative mauve robe.
Oh, she brought that from home.
Oh yeah.
She wears that.
Oh yeah. This is Cabot Cove chic.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Here we are. Well, because she also has like her silk pajamas on underneath.
Yes.
And it's Harry
It's
looking
Harry.
around for files or something. It's her house. This is so
Yes.
fucked up. Don't I don't care if your husband used your son used to live here.
Yeah.
He's dead. You don't just welcome yourself into your daughter-in-law's
Yeah. Fucking pick up a phone, man.
And she
Give
lets
him
it
a
go
call, be over in
immediately.
5. Well, and I can't help but think this little like freak out surprise scene where they're like, someone broke it in, let's get the gun. It's so unnecessary.
It's just for the intro.
It's just for the intro. It's just to give a little bit of tension and intrigue up front in the episode, but
It's not even a
it doesn't lead
commercial
to anything.
cliffhanger.
No.
No. Well, so that whole bit completely unnecessary. But
Yeah.
Harry here is looking for, I was going to say footage. He's looking for documentation related to his son's death. She's still
Right.
very cranky because she's like, it was an accident. And
She's
one
weird about
important
it
thing,
too.
yeah, exactly, which is why I feel like she could have been the killer. If this was Scream, I would have been like, okay, calm down.
I mean, maybe that
Also the
is the
killer.
misdirect, is that we're supposed to wonder, like, what is she hiding? Because she clearly is. Although it's not as juicy as you want it to be when she actually talks.
No,
Yeah.
no. But we get one bonus thing here. We get a little bit hurt with him and Jessica, and he finds some of Jimmy's personal effects,
Hmm.
including a ring.
A ring. It looks like a horseshoe. It's a horseshoe nail that's been bent around and turned into a ring, which is kind of cool. I like that
It
idea.
is neat. It is neat. Yeah, I love unconventional jewelry.
Me too. Me
Um,
too. I love things that are repurposed.
mhm.
I love the economy of it.
But it's so weird though, because he sees it and he immediately puts it on. Again,
On
not
his wedding
yours.
ring finger,
Not
no doubt.
yours. Um,
Jessica could care less.
I know.
By the way, I think it's worth mentioning this is Harry, played by John McLiam, who I don't
Hmm.
know a lot of the work, but I think he's really good in this episode. I like his
He is,
urgency. I like
yeah,
how grounded he is in the performance and how he is such a clear objective in the brief portion of the episode he's in.
this is
And I
why you
really like him.
hire this is why you hire character actors because they
Yeah, he's an
put depth
actor.
and authority into roles like this,
Hmm.
which I mean, spoiler alert, we're only 15 minutes in. He doesn't have much left.
No, I think this is the last we see of him, in fact.
Just about, yeah. And
Though he
now,
has
well,
three
this is the last
scenes.
we see of him. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum,
Oh,
ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
rolling down a hill, dead as a doornail. Thrown
Uh,
out of a moving vehicle. Jeez. It
dead.
actually made me really
Dead,
sad to
dead,
watch
dead.
this because I was rooting for him. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for
I
you.
I
Poor
know. Well,
Harry.
he's so it's also really sad, like to lose a child already. Damn.
Hmm.
Like we have to consider also like it's his son
I have
that
that in
was
my
killed.
notes. Like, no wonder he is so devoted to this cause. He knows that there was wrongdoing, and he will stop at nothing, unfortunately, his
Hmm.
death, to figure out what happened to his child. I can't imagine
Hmm.
being in that mindset. It's one thing to lose a parent, but it almost feels like the natural order of things. But to lose a child, I can't imagine.
Under suspicious circumstances, no less. To
Yeah.
already be like, yeah,
In a system,
yeah,
a broken police system that's
right.
designed to prevent you from finding out the truth. But he has a lot of strength as a character, so I still admire him. I'm glad to see him in this episode.
One thing that they found on that desk before his passing, he went out to do something. We don't quite know what, but that was somewhere along the line got killed and thrown out of a moving car.
Yeah.
There was a series of letters and numbers that didn't make a lot of sense, but clearly was some sort of cipher. That's also important. So we got the ring, which he
Hmm.
put on, and he says, "I haven't worn a ring in years." And then
Yeah.
the series of letters and numbers that Jessica looked at and said, "I couldn't tell you what that is. I have no idea."
Yeah. I mean, it looks like random number generation, right?
Yeah. Well, and Yates, who Jessica is now talking to, is saying it was an I see.
Was he struck by a car? And why was he alone out on that highway? Surely you're not going to claim that that was another accident.
You know, for the life of me, ma'am, I don't think it's any of your business.
Linda is a friend of mine, and so was Jimmy, and so was Harry. For some reason, nobody wanted to listen when Harry said that his son had been murdered.
You know, I think folks around here put a lot of faith in proof, and not in the ravings of a grieving old man.
Last night, Harry was sure that he had turned up proof. Now, I ask you again, Sheriff, how did he die?
How does he know that?
Showed him at the car. Corner
How's he
scene.
know
If
what?
you thought that he was thrown out of a car.
Satisfied?
I mean, good point. Making
I mean,
assumptions
the
or knows
implication,
something a little more.
like, okay, you could say, well, it looks like he has, vegetation on his person from the
Right.
tumble,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you knew
You
he
can
was thrown from a
infer,
car.
but to say it factually as if you know, I mean, right off the bat, come on.
So I don't know if we
You're
mentioned it before, but Gunnerson and Stokes are deep in with Yates, and
oh
Yates
yeah.
basically allows the gambling to happen. And there's this little conspiracy.
It's a little like small town mob, right?
Hmm.
I like that. I like seeing it in this kind of context where it's not like a big city, Boston, New York, but it really is like organized crime on a small scale.
That's one reason that I think it reminds me of Twin Peaks, is it's because
Yeah.
there's like this requirement of corruption at a certain level to allow things to behave the way that they are.
Yeah.
And while it's not, you know, underage sex work like in Twin Peaks, as it turns
Right.
out, there's a level of, I mean, gambling, who the fuck cares? In my estimation, who the fuck cares? But they make it seem like serious business here. I'm
This is
like,
a
yeah,
cardinal sin. This is the number one commandment, right? Like, it's just like people lose their money, that's on them. It has nothing to
like
do with me.
they're not like trafficking kids. Who fucking
No,
cares? They're
no.
gambling,
Which is why
but
they've
they make
gotten
it
away with
seem,
it for so long, right?
yeah.
But also,
Oh,
like, if you're
we're
in rural Idaho, who's like a high roller?
presumably the textile people, the people who are in, and well, that also might be part of the problem, is that one of the reasons that the gambling is so insidious is that it's taking advantage of individuals. There may
Sure.
also be some out-of-towners who know this is where you gotta
Right.
go.
I mean, to your point, I suppose that makes sense. If you have these sort of the 1% in this community who are gambling their money away as high rollers and then finding ways to exploit and steal from their workers or their community,
Hmm.
that does make sense. And that it kind of is what the world at large is, right? When we look at billionaire crimes, that's exactly what it is.
We would
But
allow it if it was sanctioned by the town.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, and
Oi.
that's the other thing too, is that one of the major issues that they have is that it is unlicensed and therefore ungovernable and therefore untaxable and therefore
Right.
unregulated. And um, it's one thing to do it yourself, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like they're out there serving raw milk, people. It's all good.
No
We
listeria
have
here.
another. We have a good guy lawman, which doesn't always happen in these episodes, but this
No, it
one we
doesn't.
do. It's Mitchell Ryan, Greg's dad from Dharma and Greg, as
That's
I will
right.
always think of him. But he's
Oh,
also Rex
for me,
from
he's Rex Huntington,
he's Rex Huntington.
Blanche's abusive boyfriend.
Who do you think
Which
you are?
I have to say, when I was rewatching this, I did not trust this guy simply because of him
He
playing
was
Rex
Rex.
Huntington, because he
That
plays
is one
Rex
of the
so well.
yeah,
That nasty, nasty man. Turns out we can trust him here.
we can. We can. He is the captain,
Yeah.
and he doesn't like the sheriff either.
Yeah, he's with the
But
state police.
he's not been able to nail him because sometime
Right.
every single time he plans a sting, the warehouse is clean.
Yeah.
Someone's a leak.
Nobody there. And he's working with Davidson on these stings, right? That's what he's
Yeah.
trying to get up to.
So why
And
is it that he and
surprisingly,
Davidson are so unsuccessful?
yeah, there's somebody in there that's an informant. I do like Rex Huntington here. I'm gonna call him Rex Huntington. I can't help myself.
Sure.
I'm glad that he comes around for me. I trust him by the end. That being said, he doesn't seem like a very what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't seem that committed to figuring this out with Jessica. Like she is bearing most of the weight of this case and solving it. He seems like, well, we tried that. Yeah, we tried
Yeah,
that. Oh well.
he's jaded. He doesn't think
Yeah.
there's any way of doing it. As
Yeah.
long as there's somebody at that level against him, he doesn't trust
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, and maybe that makes it more realistic too, because he's not some sort of savior to these people trying to bring down crime. He's actually just a working man who has plenty on his plate, right? I don't know. It
Because the would-be
feels more
savior
human.
was killed before the episode began.
That's
That's the
right.
thing is like that's what ties this all together is that
Hmm.
it's the husband who is dead that he was in theory about to
Right.
blow the lid off.
Right. Was it David Davidson? I know that's his character name and his actor name.
It's not actually his character name. You're
That's
combining his character and his actor
that's
name.
what I mean. Yeah.
Ah, David.
He's the
Yeah.
deputy mayor right now, right? After because he was in the office of the mayor who was
Yes, they
killed, and
haven't
so now he's
yet.
acting as mayor and running
Yes,
for official mayor, right? Okay, that's what I
correct.
thought.
Correct. Yes. So he worked in the same office with our dead man, but wants the job. That also should be an automatic red flag for anybody. Anybody
Oh
who
yeah,
takes the job after the dead man is an instant. It's like it might as well be the wife. Like it's the same kind of
truly.
like,
Yeah. If it's not Lady Macbeth, it's somebody else in line.
it's Macbeth. If it's not Lady Macbeth, it's Macbeth.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Ooh, this is a great character who shows up halfway through. Cindy,
this tiny little girl. She's shorter
she's
than
great.
Jessica.
I love her. She's so neurotic.
This little Sabrina Carpenter. How is she
She
shorter than Jessica?
she is so tight. She's at the bottom of her neck. That's how tall she is. In heels.
This is Cindy March, who is spying on the conversation between Jessica and
Hmm.
Linda.
Yeah.
Charlene Tilton. Why do I know
Again,
her?
see, she reminds me of she
She's
was
in
in The Love
Dallas.
Boat, I think. Or Dallas, sorry. That's right. I know she reminds me of somebody I've seen elsewhere, but it's not who I expected. So she just has one of those faces, that sort of quality of somebody else, and I can't put my finger on it. She really
She
is
was
she
the
missing?
the niece in Dallas.
Oh, can we hear Linda like crash out over this insinuation that it was murder?
Personal possession.
They were a lot alike.
Yes. Strong, honest, mule-headed. I've been talking to Captain Lenker, Linda, and he feels as I do, that Harry was killed by the same person who killed Jim.
Why do you keep saying that? Jim wasn't murdered. Look, what happened to Harry was horrible, but it had nothing to do with Jim.
Listen, Linda.
You know that isn't true.
It is. It must be true. Please, Jessica, I don't want to discuss it, especially not now. I've been here stuffing campaign material and trying to erase that image of the morgue. I can't handle anything else.
Okay, I do feel for her, right? I do
Well,
feel
I'm
for her.
not.
Well, I'm not. You caught.
Yeah. I mean, she's stressed out. It's
Yeah.
also now she has her father-in-law is dead.
Yeah, and she
I'd
had
be
to
a little,
identify her husband's body, and that's what
yeah,
they make a few references to that and how traumatic it was for her. Granted, I've never been in that situation, so I don't know how I would feel, but it feels
yeah.
pretty awful. So I get that she's under a lot of pain, in a lot of pain, but to snap at your buddy like that, geez.
I know, I know. It's rough. Oh, I had a feeling she may have been Charlene Tilton, our Cindy, the secretary, was in
Mhm.
fact a playmate. I thought she might have been.
Was she? She does sort
Yes,
of give
she
vibes. Yeah.
was.
I mean, she has that bouncy, just fucked blonde hair, right? This is
But you
your
know, one of the
term,
reasons that
not
I
mine.
assumed is I looked her up, and one of the first pictures that showed up was a photo of her and Barbie Benton.
No
So I was
shit.
like,
Barbie Benton, our nurse, our
yes.
redheaded nurse.
I just watched. Oh God, what was it? Not Dragon Slayer. Darkstalker.
Hmm.
Darks.
So
Uh,
wait,
which is so bad. It's very Conan the Barbarian light,
yes.
and she plays the slutty princess. And the reason I say that is because she sinks her teeth into it.
I mean, I gotta give him credit, right?
Uh, oh, we're on the road. In this Jeepers Creepers moment, this is
Oh, see, I think this is a dual moment, the Steven Spielberg film from the 70s.
that could work.
That's a
I don't
movie
know
where
this.
a guy in a car passes a truck on the road and then
Mm.
becomes pursued and chased by him until an ultimate finale where the truck careens off of a cliff. It's very exciting. Spoiler alert, that movie's
Oh
very old.
dear.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But
sort of
that
based in
feels like a
like
direct
that.
nod.
What do you call it? That's an urban legend of sort of like
Sure.
the car getting too close, and then you find
Hmm.
out, that they were
And then,
actually there to warn you. But
oh, right. There's someone in the back seat.
exactly. So they
Jeez.
careen off this road after this mud spattered
Hmm.
vehicle.
She's with David, the deputy
Yes,
mayor,
because they
and
were
they're
on their way to the
was it Stokes
warehouse.
Warehouse? That's what I think.
I
I
think
could
they
be
were.
wrong. I don't know if it
And
really
moments
matters.
before, he had to run to his office, and Cindy March was listening. So, in theory, we've opened the possibility to Cindy March being the informant, because if this is a Yates vehicle that's pushing him off the road,
Yeah.
then Cindy might be the person who's phoning in that moment.
Yeah, and she was listening to the earlier conversation and that. So I love the scenes where we see someone going through something that nobody else sees. I love what it sets up for us as a viewer. It's a little bit of a
Hmm.
misdirect, but it's also like makes it fun to play along. Like, ooh, what does Cindy have to do with this? And she shows up later in a way that's kind of incriminating for her,
Well,
sort of.
everyone's got their own shit. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
also is that if in a small town you got to survive, you got to play a game.
Hmm.
If this corruption is on the all the realm here, we see this a lot of times where even people who don't have connections to the big crime
Yeah.
are just trying to do shit. They're just
They're
trying to get
just
by.
I mean, we talked about that earlier. This town has the front-facing personalities and then how things actually operate under the surface. And that's
The
Cindy's role.
the under the surface.
Below stairs. By the way, this car, when they careened off the road and hit some sort of bank or whatever, no
Yeah.
airbags. No
Oh
airbags at
no.
all.
No, no, no. This
No,
is a
they were
station
fucked.
wagon that
If they didn't have their seatbelts on, they would have flown through those windows.
safety first, people.
Seriously. Jessica outside in a blanket being examined
And
by
now wrapped around
the
by the
ERs or the medics, I should say.
Yates is like, oh, so what was this truck? She's like, well, it was a black truck. He's like, well, what kind was it? I don't know. Well, what's the license plate? It had mud on it. Well, who was inside? I don't know. The windshield had mud on it too. Are you sure
Yeah.
you saw this truck? Like, yes, there was a
Yes. I
physical
saw
truck.
the damn truck, you son of a bitch. I actually like they're having this weird altercation. Maybe you can give me the license number. It was smeared with mud, you dumb shit. And then when he tries to continue it, she gets up and she gets in the
She's like,
back of the ambulance. I'm
I'm going to the
going to
hospital.
the hospital. Fuck off.
Exactly. You gonna argue with me on that one? Exactly.
This is an
Um,
interesting mode for Jessica to be in because she's quite resigned to the fact that she's just been almost run off the road and hurt her body and she has to go to the
yeah.
hospital.
We've
It's
seen
a
her
much
injured
more
before.
passive version of her, right? She's like,
Yeah.
I like that in this moment she decides to take care of herself before the mystery.
And she's feeling it. We
She's
see
aching.
her walking. She's a woman of a certain age. She was
Yeah.
hit. Have you ever gotten into a car accident that hurt you?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
not terribly, but it it alarms your body, even a minor accident, right?
Oh yeah. Also, what's the shock and stress are just
Yeah.
your body is so easily wrecked.
Hmm.
And cars, which seem so solid, are made of tissue paper. Like
Ugh, don't even say it. Yeah. I mean, you live in California, you have to drive everywhere, right?
I do, but I feel, I mean, it's toy. I've been very lucky so far in
Yeah.
everything. I've had a number of car accidents over the
Me
years, but
too.
all of them
A
on the
few.
East Coast. Three of them pretty weather related, and
Hmm.
one was to date, actually, I don't even know if I was in fault or if he was, but New Jersey has, specific requirements. I believe that I was in a turning lane and the person behind me did not think I was.
Ah,
So I believe that I was. So he had no reason to go straight, that kind of thing. But it was a non-issue by the end of it. And
yeah.
my car was fine. His car got damaged because
Oh,
I was the one who was I hit
sure.
him basically. I hit him.
Right.
But but the other two were all weather related, and weather is enough to stress you out. One was in a
Oh
fucking
my
blizzard.
God. Me too. Me too.
And I'm like on top of the car into a ditch, basically.
Eesh.
I now have to get out of the car, check in with my body as it's snowing on me, and
Yes.
I'm cold now. It's awful.
I was in, this is in college, I think, or after, slightly after college. I was in Denver and a blizzard had started. And so I was on my way from Denver back to Boulder, where I lived at the time, which is about a 30-minute drive usually, but heavy, heavy blizzard. And I got off on the exit to just head that direction. And
Mm,
the roads were just a sheet of ice. I spun out and I hit the barrier. And
mm,
when I landed there and got out of my car, the airbag went off and everything. There were 4 or 5 other cars in the same place that had also met the same fate. And there was
mhm,
already like officers there dealing with the other accidents. It was so bad, and I wasn't speeding or anything, but the airbag went off. The front of the car is crunched in, and the officers say to me, like, "We have a lot going on right now. Do you think you can drive this vehicle back home?" And so
mhm,
there I did. I the airbag deployed, the front of the car crunched up, driving it another 25 minutes home in a
mm.
blizzard. It was so traumatic. I don't know how we do these things.
My in both in of my serious accidents, the airbag has not deployed.
Oh shoot. I've had it happen
Yeah.
twice. That's alarming when the airbag goes off.
And it's supposed to it doesn't I feel like it should be like a nice fluffy cloud. People have broken their noses
Oh
on
no.
airbags.
It like punches you in the face, but it's better than
Yeah.
a windshield. So anyway,
Ah, anyway, well, the only thing that we really missed while we were talking was Jessica and Linda. I think Linda's finally convinced. She's like, okay,
there's too much happening now.
too much
Well,
happening.
what she says to her is, I think Jessica says, like, you had a level with me. Why are you acting like this? Why are you being so nuts about the insinuation that this is murder? And she says it's because she was the one who encouraged her husband to get into politics. And so she feels responsible for his death if that's the reason he was killed. And I'm just like, girl, please move on.
Make it about yourself.
Honestly, check your ego.
Uh,
I have like so much sympathy for one moment.
no, I mean,
Move
but to be
on.
fair, it's a reasonable response. It's because it's like this is bigger than you, woman. Like, get
Yeah.
the fuck over it.
Yeah.
Two
It
people
ain't
are
about
dead,
you. Not
and two
everything
other
revolves
people were
around
almost
Linda.
killed.
Yeah.
All right, now we meet another woman. Jesus, it's a little late in the
We
game
only
here
have
to
like
meet
12
another
minutes left.
character.
Yeah. Where's she coming from? She's one of Cindy's coworkers. And this
And
is kind of a cool
she's
one scene wonder moment for her, even though she's not really a wonder, I would say. But no offense, no offense. But
uh-huh.
she's basically just tattling on her coworker.
Yeah. Well, because otherwise we wouldn't know. Because this is Rita, and she's saying that Cindy is an informant,
Yeah.
and because she's sleeping with Wayne, our sheriff
Our
junior.
hunky
What's his name?
douchebag
Deputy.
deputy Wayne. Yeah.
Oh, and here we are. They are
They're fully at a
mashing their faces
motel.
against each other.
This is the least sexy sex I've ever seen on TV.
He's like biting her face off,
Yeah.
but
They're
he's
also both
there.
like fully clothed having sex.
Well,
I know, TV. I get
I
it.
like to imagine that they're both completely bottomless, but that they're Winnie the Poohing it for
That's
this.
it.
Because she's got like
Uh,
some sort of slip on, and he
yeah.
has this A-line shirt that is
Yeah.
also known by another name that I tried to
Yeah, we don't
remove from
say.
my
Yeah,
I tried to
same.
remove from my slang.
You all know what it is.
You all know what it is.
It's a white
It's a white
tank.
tank undershirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but we get a good shoulder bulge from him. He's good. He gives good clavicle.
He's got it's a nice body. It's look at that hair though. That's
I
that
know
that's that swoopy 80s hair that looks like a
it's
helmet.
that Blagojevich. Oh no, he is
That's
wearing
it.
pants.
Yeah,
Oh, we see them from the bottom there. Okay, all right. Well, that's sort of ruined for me. I love that
yeah,
she's in this nightgown slip moment and he's fully in pants.
yeah.
That's,
Exploit the ladies. Exploit the look at the bottom of his feet. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Wash those
were
feet if they're
they
gonna be on camera, sir.
giving it away for free?
Yeah.
Uh, so that was all there just to say that our 4'11" secretary
He's in on this
is
somehow.
is telling Wayne stuff.
Yeah. Well, and they fully say here that he was the one in the truck, don't they?
Yes,
Like she
yes,
could have been killed. Well, they're not. I wasn't told to kill them. I was told to scare them.
right.
Right.
And
So Wayne is in on it.
he's not quite abusive, but he is actually abusive. He holds
He
her
is
hair.
abusive.
Yeah, he is abusive.
And
Yeah.
she tries to exert some sort of agency in the situation and he grabs her. But
Yeah.
then at
So
the
he's
end of this weird tension between them, they start making out again. And I'm like, Cindy, step
because he
away.
wants to. No, no, no. She's this is battered wife system right here. She's
I mean, it really
afraid of
is.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is she's afraid of him. He's the Rex Huntington in this one.
he really is.
He can be
Rex
real mean. They
Huntington
do
returns.
finally, which nobody
Well, I
asked
guess
for,
he would
but
be the first Rex
finally.
Huntington. Actually, I would love
Uh,
to hear the scene between Cindy and Jessica because I like the shift in her character when she's confronted by Jessica. And I think it's another beautiful example of how Jessica knows how to talk to people, recognizes where they are, and knows how to
and meets
help
them.
them and also get what she needs from them.
I swear, Mrs. Fletcher, I didn't even talk to Wayne until afterwards. If I'd have known he was going to pull a stunt like that, I would have tried to stop him.
Haven't you been giving him information ever since you came to work at City Hall? Now, Cindy, don't lie to me. 2 people have been murdered. Don't make things worse for yourself.
All right. Yeah, sometimes I had to. I was afraid of him.
He sounds like
When Wayne
Blanche's
doesn't get his
niece.
own way, he can be real
I was
mean.
thinking the same. Lucy, Lucy the slut.
Stop
Lucy.
seeing him.
She sounds like Lucy. Oh my God, she's so little.
He loves me too.
Oh,
Dang.
Cindy.
It's true. He's going to ask his wife for a divorce just as soon as she has her baby.
Do you know how awful that sounds?
Honey.
Sounds. Other people are happy. Why is all this happening to me?
Cindy, sit down.
My favorite line of the episode.
Cindy,
Other
sit
people are
down.
happy. Why is this happening to me?
I want you to be totally honest with me. I'll do everything I can to help you. Now, when you were Mayor Stevens' secretary, did you tell this deputy that the mayor had arranged for the state police to
Let's lay it all
report
out.
illegal
Let's
gambling
say
while the
everything.
Yeah.
sheriff was out of town?
Because there's a lot going on. You have to remind the
I know
audience
about it.
what the stakes are.
Sure?
I swear.
Jessica's in control here.
Well, there's something else. This morning, I talked to the public librarian about something that Mayor Stevens had been carrying around with him on a slip of paper. She said that it wasn't a card catalog number. However, she suggested it might be a legal reference.
When he wanted me to look up something in his law books, this is how he'd write it. Actually, this has 2 different references with a lot of different parts.
This is why we need her.
Want me to find them?
This is why we need her.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I was puzzled by the 6 at the beginning.
And she immediately gets up to look through books.
That's an S for
She's
state,
immediately
not S
helping
for
Jessica.
volume. Here it is. Let's see, page 560, D for docket 584. Here it is.
So she opens the book.
Holly,
Out falls a
1979.
slice of paper, a sheet of paper.
A slice of paper. Zoom.
Jim kept it from prying out.
This is a cool little misdirect.
Electrician who had to make some emergency repairs at Stokes' warehouse on a Saturday night. He says that Sheriff Yates was present while people were gambling.
Sworn to and notarized. Well, this is reason enough not to let him in on the next raid.
It was tucked into a book next to a case about a local official who accepted bribes in the form of political support.
Fits Yates like a glove.
Well, so does the case in the other law book. Election fraud. A candidate for office used the cemetery vote to ensure his victory at the polls. Oddly enough, there was no evidence tucked into that one.
Well, maybe Jim was still working on it. I got something for you, too. You were right about
You were
Harry's
right
shoes.
about Harry's shoes.
Police in Casterville picked up a wino trying to buy Muscatel with Harry's credit card.
Is it possible that he killed Harry?
No, 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 no. On the night of the murder, he was in the county drunk tank. They let him go just before dawn, so they wouldn't have to feed him breakfast.
It's too much.
He was
Good
walking out
grief.
of town. He must have run into Harry's
It's too much.
And took Harry's boots.
Harry's everything. His wallet, his keys.
I'll be
Two
damned.
sets of keys?
Only one.
That's strange. I saw Harry pick up Jim's keys from the desk before he left the house.
So she's working together. They're figuring stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
They're
We
getting there.
finally
They're
have a
getting there.
real ally to knock some of these details out.
Well, because again, this is another situation where if Jessica's the fish out of water, she doesn't have access to any of this information.
No. She doesn't have
She needs
relationships
the
with these
local.
people. Which is that's why I wanted to watch the scene with Cindy, because I kept thinking she's speaking to her almost as if she's a student.
Mhm.
She has that
Oh
sort of
yeah,
sense of authority and control and power over the situation, but she's still creating a space for Cindy to feel safe to help her out. Just brilliant.
yeah.
Oh, Cindy. Oh, Cindy. Here we
She
are
had a great
at the
impact on you. Yeah.
gambling warehouse.
It's
This place
roulette
does not look
tables
fun.
surrounded by wood and cardboard.
Yeah.
It's
It's like a barn.
You don't go there for the ambience.
And drinks. Because you want a little cocktail when you're illegally gambling. Sure. Kate is back. Kate
She is
Gunnerson is back.
playing solitaire, and she says that
Mhm.
the high rollers don't get there till after midnight because they can't get away from their wives until then.
What are their wives thinking when these guys are leaving at midnight?
They don't talk
Jeez.
about it. It's something that
No.
they just don't get into. I have a feeling again, there's
Rich people
this
problems.
sense of power displacement in this situation here,
Yeah.
where like the men are either all hair pullers
hmm
or the women are kept in some
Right.
variety. Like it's all just
Well, and in this scene, we see that we sort of have this idea that Sheriff Yates, is the one sort of running the show here. It's very clear now that Kate Gunnerson is in charge. She is the one calling the shots, getting the people elected who she wants elected, working with the right people.
let's get a little Kate here because we actually
Yeah.
haven't heard from her yet, and she is a delight. I want more of
hmm
her. I want her show. I also love like these women over 50 who are playing the high road. Like some of them are just like hangers-on women, like clearly like there to blow on the dice. And there's these
Yes.
other women who are like with their purses on, just like
Uh,
bingo money.
it's a weird assortment of people.
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Still early. High rollers can't get away from their wives till after midnight.
Here, Orville. Try your luck. Go ahead, it's on the house.
Not for me, thanks.
Orville's not a big gambler like his deputy.
Yeah, Wayne ain't exactly cautious.
He's willing to take chances to better himself. That's how you play the game.
What game is that, Kate?
There's only one game. It has different names.
You talking about politics?
That's one name. Another is getting rich. In case
It's,
you
they're
haven't
they're in their
noticed.
own universe right now.
I
Like they're in
love
their
it.
own movie.
That way you told Wayne Beeler to run Carolyn, the Fletcher woman, off the road yesterday?
Shh, not so loud.
So Yates isn't playing ball as well. So Kate now knows that she can get Wayne to do shit.
Wasn't me.
Yeah.
See Wayne acting like he owns
Yates is
the
no
place.
longer in charge of Wayne.
Give him testimonial.
Kate is.
Folks think.
And the detective, Orville.
If I was, maybe I'd known who killed Jim and Harry Stevens.
You crazy. Hold it down.
You think it was Wayne?
Come to me.
Wayne's a good boy. He does what he's told. I think he'd make a good sheriff.
We agreed the mayor would have a say on that.
Surprise, surprise, Yates isn't the one who killed him.
I love this reveal. I mean, we kind of know it's coming because it's too heavily implied that he's responsible too early.
Well, you at least think that he was in on it, and he's actually not even really
No.
in on it.
Mm-mm.
He's just part of the cover up, but doesn't
And
know what
Stokes,
he's
yeah.
covering up.
He's just doing, frankly, what he's told.
Trained dog can do that.
He's- So we have our final scene here. Jessica is in the mayor office or law office or wherever she was with Cindy looking at books. And she called David in, Bruce
It's
Davison.
his office, isn't it? Isn't it
I
his
think it is
office?
his office. Yeah,
It's
I
the
guess it is
mayor's.
now.
Yeah, it's the acting mayor's
Yeah.
office.
Yeah. Why else would they be together? It was David. It was
It
David.
was David.
Yeah.
You
He
can see on his face things falling apart,
hmm
and it's good.
hmm
It's
But
good.
he never admits. He never admits to the crime. I like that. Usually they collapse, right? And they sort of spill
Hmm.
all their tea. He, up to the moment he was arrested, is still saying, "That's wrong. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, even though
Hmm.
they can trace it all back to him at this point." Oh, and this trap that Jessica
Yeah.
sets.
Jessica indicates that in a couple of hours they're going to
Yeah.
raid Gunderson's,
And then she
but
leaves the
they're
office,
already there.
and then David
And David
calls
calls
and essentially implicates himself over the phone that he's the informant who's telling them to clear
because he's
this
talking to
warehouse.
Rex Huntington. He calls and the captain answers.
Yeah. Kate's not available as she's getting handcuffed.
I know.
Shit. Dangerous game they're playing.
Indeed. I do like, however, that so we see the folks getting arrested.
Hmm
While I don't quite understand how they're choosing whom to arrest, I have a feeling they're all going to jail, even
Yeah, they're all
these poor
participating.
Midwestern women in their purses.
Look at that old bitch
These
looking
bingo
looking on.
ladies.
I know. Bingo ladies.
Don't blame the
Not at
bingo
all.
ladies.
They're just there to have a good time, you know.
Arr,
A lot of few sheets.
you set me up.
We
She
love when she
hoped that
lays
she
a
was
trap.
wrong. You don't know how much she wishes that were true. Yet
Hmm
another case of someone that she liked disappointing her.
I still had hoped it was Linda. Alas. I mean, after we've seen the show so many episodes, him being in the car with her when they were being run off the road,
Yeah,
early in the series would have been like, oh, of course he's innocent. And now it's like,
yeah.
oh, no, of course he's not.
This show, because it centers around one single person and all of these happening to them. I mean,
Hmm
yes, Jessica does her fair share of butting in,
Yeah,
but she's around for a lot of shit.
she
To
is.
have it constantly be people that she's connected to would just be exhausting to a certain degree. It kind of has to also be people that she knows from a distance.
Yeah.
And
Also, like,
this is
who
one
could
of
she
those
trust if it were always the
situations.
people she knows, right? She would never be able to go
Right.
anywhere and
And it
trust a
would
single
be
soul.
sad. Like it
Yeah,
would be sad if
yeah.
yet again, like that's like when I remember, I haven't seen it and I have complicated feelings about seeing it. But the latest Scream iteration, people are like, oh, I bet it's the husband. Oh, I bet it's the daughter. I'm like, I hope it's not Sydney's husband or daughter, and I hope they both live because this woman has been through enough.
Honestly, truly, Victor, I haven't seen it for the same reason because I don't want them to fuck with it that way.
Mm,
Sydney is a hero. Let her win a little bit in life,
it's a
right? Aside
little.
from escaping with her life every several years. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you know what? Maybe we
Yeah.
should make a commitment to watch it and then talk about it. Like, do a little recap maybe the next time we record.
I'm waiting for it to be on streaming. I don't want to give Spyglass
Right.
the significance, but
Fair.
it's one of those things. It's because I'm mad that they fired the actresses that they fired.
Me
I
too.
also am glad that they finally paid F. Campbell what she was worth. So I'm like, which
Yeah.
do I pick? Which do I pick?
That's a tough question to answer
It is.
because
It is.
there's justice and equity in one hand, and then there's some real shit going on the other hand. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Again, life is not clean and simple.
It's not.
Anyway, back to this confession, or
Oh yes, because
takes the place of the confession scene.
we get there, and it's the tell is a little what allows Jessica to reflect and pause and realize what the missing ingredient was is he mentioned the ring that
Right.
Harry was wearing when he was
Right.
killed. Harry put that ring on hours earlier only in front of Jessica and had said that he never wore a ring before that or
Yeah.
hadn't in a while.
hmm
The fact that David knew that
That
he
he was
had a
wearing a
ring
ring.
in his personal effects is a tell.
They always say just one thing too much. What cabinet? What
Exactly.
storage closet? George.
Get it together. figure it
We do get
out.
a little flashback, and it looks like Harry showed up, found or overheard David on the phone, and then accused him, and then was promptly murdered, hit with a stabby object on the desk.
Yeah. And then dragged to a car and then thrown off the
And
side of
thrown
the
out.
highway.
There's also that little detail about the vagabond or the transient person or the grifter
Hmm.
stealing his items, his boots and shoes, which I don't know really adds much to the story. It feels like it should be a clue, but it's not really. It's
It
literally just somebody was released
indicates,
from jail, found a dead body, and stole his effects, right?
well, it indicates that it wasn't an accident, I think,
Right,
is that it created suspicion. It created
right.
extra suspicion. Yeah, it's a little, and I'm glad actually we don't spend any time with that
Me
transient
too.
thing. We do that with a later episode.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't want to see a transient person be put through the ringer just because of their circumstance in life.
right,
And we don't
right.
have to see it here. So there's another detail here that we didn't really talk about, and it has to do with those documents that were found in the books implicating Sheriff Yates and then the thing about the cemetery vote. And what actually happened is that David found those items that the previous mayor, is it Jim? I don't know, we barely say his name,
Linda's husband.
had found on him
Yes.
at being the informant
So
and sort of the
yeah, it's windy. It's
it
very
is a little
windy.
windy. I had to rewind that a few times to like, what are they doing? But so David found it. He actually removed the one about himself that implicated him in
Hmm.
the crime, and then moved the Yates one to the book that was implicating him, so that if
Hmm.
anybody found it, Yates would be the one responsible, not him.
Because he knew that that cipher was out there somewhere, I
Right,
guess. It's
right.
a little silly, but they have to espionage it.
Yeah. And we don't really even we just see him
It's the
doing it
Maltese
in a
Falcon. We
flashback, but it's
don't.
all assumption. We don't know if
It's
it's
not
actually
important.
happened that way. This is why your hubby doesn't like the flashback sequences because no one's there to see it, right? You can't
Yeah,
confirm this is actually what happened. I mean, the show tells us it's what happened, but it is a little frustrating because how does Jessica know these things or how can she make these assumptions other than she's some sort of psychic?
yeah. We get this. We get this sort of, I don't know, unfulfilling conclusion to a certain
Yeah,
degree because
yeah.
it wraps it up real tight
Hmm.
but loose, and it's sort of bad guy is bad guy because we told you he is. We'll worry about it off screen.
Yeah,
It's not quote important to the story why or how or what.
right.
It's just so we can get this little moment here so that Linda feels better about herself. She's
Hmm.
justified in two people being killed, including her husband.
Her relatives.
I know.
And what's she gonna do about it? She's
Uh,
gonna run for mayor.
what are her qualifications? I
What?
could not tell you. I couldn't tell
Jesus.
you. This
And
happens
then
every now and then. Like I remember, like we hear about like congressmen or people are acting other people that are when they die, like oh their wife took over. Or, oh this person. I'm like
yeah.
okay, I guess if they're
Is that how it works?
and then it ends with them grinning at the tombstone. It's
Yeah.
just too much.
It's very strange. Just like you
It's a
said
bit
in
of
Wicked, in Wicked when Nessa Rose and Elphaba's father has like a heart attack and Nessa
yes,
Rose just like assumes the role of governor because that's how
uh,
it works.
that's how it works.
It's so bonkers.
That's how it works.
This is fiction, baby.
Is it?
I
That
mean,
wasn't a documentary. Look at that. They're so happy. Cheerful orchestral music as they stare at the.
just I'm so delighted to be at the cemetery celebrating the death of my father-in-law and husband. Wow.
It's so.
It's weird.
It
Well,
is.
and for an episode that has no humor in it whatsoever, and for there to be these big broad smiles at the end in the cemetery,
Yeah. With the cheerful.
it's
Yeah.
so nonsense. I just find it delightful.
I had to get it back. I had to bring us back.
There you have it.
That was the cemetery though. How do we feel?
Yeah. Why don't you start? Why don't you
Why don't
start? I
I
always start.
start?
You start.
That's because I always feel like I've talked the most. And then I've interrupted you.
Well, in that case,
Um,
no, go for it. Go for it.
well, I mean, so it's a solid premise. It's a well plotted, well indicated mystery. It
Hmm.
doesn't give us a lot of the details because the details are actually not what the story is about. It really isn't. The everything's a means to an end. So the end being let's stop corruption from existing at this higher level in government. All of the individual elements are kind of secondary. They all just
Hmm.
sort of create, this corrupt porridge. It doesn't really matter what they all are individually. And the most
Yeah,
exciting one is the gambling. And frankly, gambling is not that exciting,
as we've discussed.
as we've discussed.
It's not that
So,
offensive. It's who's
yeah.
hurting themselves. It's just people hurting themselves, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, and
It's not moderate. Yeah.
there are ways of making it worse if they do it in a way that involves organized crime. This isn't even technically organized crime. This is
No.
like these are small businesses, actually. This is small enterprise.
It's people in
So,
these environments finding power
yeah.
where they can.
Yeah. And I mean, and therefore, okay, so that's strong arming, innocent people and, people died.
Hmm.
Okay, then they're bad. Okay, got it. But the actual activity that they're protecting, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
If we just allowed people to do whatever the fuck they wanted, then we wouldn't have this. Like at least, I don't know. I mean, not that I like have a lot of issues with people with drug use. At least make it drugs. At least make it like I don't know, migrant workers that are being mistreated. It just
Or
seems a
exploited
little
something. Yeah.
non-issue.
Yeah.
Just seems a little non-issue. And the only way that they can really sex it up is by making it, oh, they're also killing people to keep this secret. Okay, great.
Right.
Kate Gunnerson is great. She's a lot of fun. She's got that Pat Carroll sort of the only way to get what you want is to become a human yourself kind of vibe.
Hmm.
It's there's a sexiness about her. And I love
Yes.
when they allow a woman of a certain age to do that, allow that.
Well, she's like pissing all
She's
over the men, right?
oh absolutely. She is
It's so
pro-doming the hell out
satisfying.
of this.
Yeah.
And she's also so she's the brains behind it. So good for her. Happy about her. You know what? I'm still rooting for you, Kate. And yet isn't really given motivation beyond that. We know shit about her. We don't know
No.
anything about her, but she's compelling, and that's the quality of the actress.
Right.
If someone else is playing that with any less grit or weakness, like she is so powerful and she's I don't know and again her sensuality is not it doesn't even come across as the male gaze,
No.
which I really appreciate too. Like if she was Mae Westing it up, that would be one thing, and you're like, oh, because she's also using her sexuality or something like that. She is wearing denim and a button up shirt almost to the top, and yet
And blood red lipstick. Blood red.
and she's also completely in her own scenes here. Like she's
Hmm.
also like, that's one name for it. Another name is getting rich. And I'm like, who are you talking to? What is this
What
little
universe?
I love it. So she's obviously the most interesting part of it. Everything else is sort of like, okay. And I think if we were to get more of her, honestly, we might lose some of that. We might lose some of that because then they might try to
Hmm.
humanize her to a degree that I'm not
Yeah.
interested,
Well, you
you
know
know?
what? I agree with you there. But one thing I do think is missing is that
Mm.
Jessica and Kate never share the same space. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity
What would
because
that have been like?
I know that's what I want to see. Like two
Yeah.
true powerhouses in this setting, butting heads like this. Because really her biggest adversary here is Sheriff Yates.
Yeah.
And it turns out he has no power. He's not responsible for the crimes. He's just a yes man on her arm after
Right.
all this.
Well,
And so,
yeah. Well, she was never going to get Kate to confess, so there's no motivation for her to talk to Kate.
Right. But she
I
still
mean,
knows who she is.
in a writing standpoint,
She refers
I
to
don't.
Kate at one point during the episode, but she doesn't like ever experience Kate, which is that I think that's the part that's like, wait a second,
Mm.
there's a missing, and I wonder if something may have been edited out, if there was some kind of interaction or way of introducing the characters to each other. But somewhere down the line, Jessica just happens to know who Kate Gunnerson is and makes reference to her. But why?
Well, because she knows about the gambling stuff. I think it's the sheriff, the captain that gives her that information.
Hmm. But the gambling's happening at Stokes' warehouse, not
Yeah.
at Kate's pub. So where Kate fits into this from a legal perspective is even a little cloudy for me.
My guess is that she is the financier.
She's the brains and the financier of the
She's the one
operation.
who is getting the money, frankly, for the house. She's the house.
Ah,
So if
yes.
the house has money, in theory, she's the one who has to have access to the funds for
Right.
there to be gambling money in the first place.
And she's the one that talks about, oh, the high rollers won't get here. So she's the one
Right,
keeping tabs on the patrons of this
right.
illegal gambling ring. So that
She's
is
probably
essentially the
the
power,
invite.
right? You
Yeah,
can have you
she's
can
the
have
person
the
to get the
arms
invite
and the
from.
force, you can have the space, but she's the one who's actually producing,
Right. And then
making
Yates
it
is security.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're getting high on their own supply because Wayne is gambling in that
Oh
scene as
yeah.
well. So she's using him just as much to give him some indication there. So either you can use that in two ways. You can play the game where he wins and therefore feels very good about himself and he
Right.
knows that he's always got a thing, or
Right.
you make him slowly lose to the point where he gets more and more desperate.
Hmm.
And she, I think, at this point is letting him win because she
Yeah.
knows that he's a better asset than Yates
Right.
is.
I
Because
think
Yates is still a
Wayne,
douche,
he is. He is.
but he's not a motivated douche.
He's cunning, but you're right, not motivated other than his own cut. Meanwhile, Wayne is getting a little too big for his britches. What I
He's
like about
ambitious.
Deputy Wayne is that he is a shining symbol of hubris in this
Yes.
series. And we don't ever get to see him at his full potential, which is also satisfying that someone like Wayne, who behaves so despicably to the women in his life, as we see,
Mm.
to
Hmm.
Harry in the beginning, putting him in a chokehold, at the table gambling and sort of living it up, and to see him fall is really satisfying. More than Sheriff
Yeah.
Yates. I like seeing Wayne get his comeuppance because he's gotten too confident too quickly and thinks he's infallible.
Well, because he's that kid. He's that entitled
Hmm.
snot of a kid that we
Has
all
always
knew in high
gotten what he
school.
wants.
Or
I
that,
want to throw
yeah,
out so many names right now, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, he would have a right wing podcast if he existed
that's
today.
what I'm saying. This is like Kyle Rittenhouse
This
nonsense,
is
right?
Nick Fuentes. Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
Brock Turner. This is all of these scuzzy little white boys who get away with it.
Yep. And that's what makes it satisfying is
Yeah.
that he doesn't.
There's justice, even if there may not be the same type of justice in the world we live in. In Murder, She Wrote, I can watch it and see these people punished
Mhm. I
for
mean
their
that's
bad
really what this
behavior.
is, isn't it? That's what the
Yeah.
satisfaction element
Yeah.
is. There was some talk. I remember I was on, I think it was Threads. It may have been the worst one, but I think it was Threads where somebody was like, "Oh, I know what it is." Malcolm in the Middle is coming back, and so Frankie Muniz and Bryan Cranston, our friend from Can't
Hmm.
Menace Anyone, were talking, and he was talking about Breaking Bad and how Frankie Muniz did not like the wife character. And I've never seen Breaking Bad. It's just not my vibe.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but
I've seen this clip circulating.
but as I understand it, one of the issues is that the wife, as is often the issue when there's an anti-hero lead, has to be the wet blanket, has to be, the one that he's lying to or trying to work around, and therefore is the shrew very frequently.
Hmm.
And as I understand it, the actress, and I don't know her name, who plays his wife on Breaking Bad, subverts that and has
Yeah.
agency and therefore is complicated and frustrating. And they were like, "Oh, I
And
hate,
a gun.
I
And a
hate
gun.
that element." There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you need nuance to, otherwise she is just the shrew, or she is
Yeah.
just this, or
Well, and
um,
when she has her own agency, then people are angry with her, when in
yeah.
fact they're not recognizing the extreme circumstances that she's placed under by the people around her.
Well, and technically she's right a lot of
Yeah.
the time, because when you have an anti-hero protagonist, you as an audience are allowing yourself to experience the thrill on somebody else's behalf. And when you deal with
Hmm.
somebody who has the role of giving us actually real world perspective and ethics, you're like, "Aw, come on.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. Let me play." But no, it's part of the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so like I get it. Like I think it's very telling to me when someone's like, "Oh, I don't like that character," and you find out why, and it's because they're the moral compass of that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, then what you're getting from this show is the thrill of
Yeah.
experiencing
Hmm.
being bad without
Yeah.
actually having to deal with it, and you don't want to deal with. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so interesting you say that because it sort of brings up the question about, like, to me, of how TV influences the way we behave and how media and art and film influences the way we behave. Because we all hear those things like, we don't want violence on TV because it teaches people how to be violent, which is kind of, it's a low tier argument when it's not actually looking at what's actually happening, because people who watch these things and want complicated stories about real people but have the cognitive reasoning and function to understand how to transcend that, but can recognize it, that's when it's great. But it's when people with poor understanding see these stories and then they feel vindicated in their own bad behavior in life. It's such a cloudy
Um,
area, such a gray area. And I don't know what the right answer is.
well, I mean, and depiction, I'm of the firm believer that depiction is not endorsement. I've talked
I
about it on
agree.
this pod
I
where
agree.
we even say like, oh, and this person killed them, and I say good for them. I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean that in a hyperbolic, this is a fantasy fictional situation. That
Right.
character's not asking for my permission. That character doesn't need my permission. So why
Right.
am I so worried about not giving that character permission?
Right.
Um, and so I think a lot of us get really stuck on, I need to make sure that the world knows that I don't agree with this.
Yeah.
So, and we see this in true life. We see this with politicians who immediately
Yeah.
have to, I was going to say besmirch, but I don't mean like there actually has to discredit, not discredit.
Hmm.
What do you call it when you say I don't agree with this, and I have to say we don't do this as Americans. Like yeah, but we kind of do.
But we
We
kind of
kind of
do.
do.
Yeah.
We kind of do. And if you're going to say, oh, this person is a fascist, and then somebody attacks that fascist in a violent way,
Hmm.
and then you kept calling this person a fascist, then say, oh, but we don't do that. We don't behave this way. Like, well, but that person's a fascist. Like, I don't know what you want
Yeah.
then. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
playing too many sides. And
It's a really
I,
undefined perspective on how to move through the world. It's
yeah.
like you
Well, and
change the rules arbitrarily based on your emotional state more than
yeah,
what's actually in front of you.
bad
Yeah.
person is dead, but we can't speak ill of the dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
And how much time has to pass before we can?
Yeah.
Because I think there is a certain time where we do.
Uh-huh.
And I think that that's another situation where then people get like, oh, well, you can't compare everything to Hitler. You can't compare everything to the Nazis because that reduces the Nazis like what the worst is. And I'm like, does it? Or does it just simply say
Or does it
it's everywhere?
recontextualize it?
Yeah.
Does it give
I
us a new
mean,
way of looking at the same behavior?
yes.
That's what
And
I think.
that's
Yeah.
complicated because while yes, I think if you constantly use the worst hyperbole every time, does that sort
Hmm.
of water down your personal perspective of what that is?
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe. But to be honest, I don't think that you, million number 54,
Yeah.
saying watering it down actually recontextualizes all of history. I
Right.
don't know. Like, I don't think you have that power. Like, I just
No.
don't think you do.
Right.
Um,
It's where perception comes in and individual perception
it's
that things really get muddy.
yeah.
Sort of
So,
similarly, like not quite the same, but when I was a young adult, I had a relative the same age as me. I won't go into it more than that, who would watch like shoot 'em up, bang bang movies and Arnold
mhm.
Schwarzenegger movies and Sylvester Stallone videos and things like that. And the villains were always foreign, whether they were
Oh yeah.
British or people of color and whatever. And
Hmm.
I
Big
observed,
Cold War generosity
yes,
too.
very that.
Yes.
And what I observed, I didn't like watching those things because I didn't like seeing violent things, but I also understood that they were actors playing parts.
Hmm.
This relative of mine would watch those things and actually develop hard feelings toward people with English accents and people of color because those
Yeah.
stories taught them to. And
Yeah.
they would sort of have this nationalism soak into them that wasn't necessarily intended, but because of how things were
Oh,
represented,
but it was
well,
possibly intended.
sometimes it was, yes.
Rambo
But
is propaganda. I mean, frankly, it
but
is.
you
I mean,
can't
it
tell
really
me that
is.
you can't watch Die Hard and you can't watch Die Hard once and watch Hans Gruber and say like, "Oh, anybody with that accent is a bad guy." That's low cognitive function, right? You do not have
Hmm.
connection making abilities in your brains. And so then you are infected and you have to
Yeah.
work against that as you age and mature and whatnot. While some
Mhm.
people do understand the difference between an actor and reality. And so those things used to drive me up the wall. And I think it's the difference between curiosity and incuriosity.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Well, and I think some of it also is who is this for and what is
mhm.
the tone?
Yes.
Because if you make any backdrop to like Vietnam or Korea, like actually, and now because it's complicated, now Americans are like feel some kind of way about our participation in Vietnam on a higher level than we did then.
Hmm.
It's really hard to depict Vietnam in a pro-America kind of way in media right now
Yes.
because it obviously it hasn't aged well. It just hasn't aged well. So
Right.
when you watch something of a certain age where it does contextualize it as Americans as the savior, it feels
Yeah.
trite. It feels wrong. It feels
Yes.
forced.
Yes.
When then it was just earnest. It was just,
Right.
I mean, just Americans go to war and they help people. Like that's what
We
we were
are
taught.
removing communism from the world. Did
Right.
I ever tell you that I did a summer study abroad in Vietnam, and so
Hmm.
I had a
I did
lot
not know
of
this about you.
insight into, yeah, I was a sophomore in college and I did 5 weeks in Vietnam studying art and culture and context. So I got to travel the whole country from the north, which is still exists in a sort of communist state to this, well, this was at the time, to the
Hmm.
south, which had been sort of liberated by Western
Ah,
forces. And so you see the differences in these two sectors of the country. But one of the things that we talked about before we even went on that trip was like, what about the Vietnam War? Are we going to be despised for being Americans in Vietnam in what was it, like 25 years after that war, sort of the dust settled? And what we learned was that that war to us meant much more than it did to them because China has been trying to invade Vietnam for thousands of years. And the American War, as they call it there, the American War was a drop in the bucket. And it was literally like, shoo, shoo, go away. We don't need you here. And so they don't necessarily have those spiteful, hard feelings towards Americans. I found them incredibly warm and welcoming and happy to have us there. Well, we have these concepts because of where we're raised and how we grow up and what our media
right.
tells us that things are
Right.
these terrible, dire circumstances, when in fact, again, drop in the bucket for the people of
Right.
Vietnam. Obviously, many people died, but when you contextualize it in their entire history as a nation state,
Mhm.
it's not the same. And that was such a beautiful lesson to learn early on in life as a 19-year-old. And I've carried it
Mhm.
with me ever since. But it
Mhm.
gives you, I think you have to travel the world to understand the world. I think you cannot exist in your little box in Idaho and understand how the world works.
Well, and because you're being given these clue context
Yes.
information.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you don't have the curiosity to understand it on your own and make your own connections and build your own conclusions, what are you even doing?
Well, again, and we're at a point, especially with white fragility, where we are
Yeah.
responsible for a lot of pain and a lot of hubris and a lot of, we are Wayne in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, so when we get involved in things, it becomes politicized depending on whose idea it was. Because if
Right.
it's Trump's idea, then there are certain people who are going to have a certain response to it no matter what.
Yeah.
And then if it actually happens to be the same thing that Obama did, well, then they're going to have to make concessions in their brain about what they want to do. Watching the sort of lower government here, just bringing it back to this episode,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, it shows that what seems like the smallest possible, oh, a mayor's race in Idaho. Okay. It shows that for this community, it's their whole world. It actually affects every state of living.
Hmm.
And we don't see poor people. We don't see disparity. We don't even see any black people or people of
No,
color in this episode at all.
at all.
Um,
And our homeless person is faceless. Our one
yes,
mention of someone who is of a lower class level,
yes.
we don't even see them.
So the choices this episode is already making, where it frankly demonizes a certain set of the population, it manages to do that without showing us any contrast.
Yeah.
And it's again another situation where the rich people are the ones who are bad. It's the
Hmm.
wealthy that are affecting everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that that's actually a pretty decent writing technique, as it doesn't exploit and it doesn't give opportunity to exploit
Right.
marginalized individuals. Is it a shame that they're not depicted? Yes, in that those people don't get, agency physically
Right.
on the screen. But does it need them to show how horrible white people are to the marginalized people, the rich white people? We don't need to do that to them
Yeah.
to make them seem weak, to make them seem, you know,
Right.
incapable
Yeah.
or so I think that's a plus. I think that's the one good thing about, the lack of representation sometimes.
Yeah.
It may not fit the what's that rule called? The Bechdel
The
test?
Bechdel
But
test for
um
women's presence in film and TV. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the variation is for when it comes to other representation.
Hmm.
It may not fit that, but it
Right.
manages to tell a story that
Right.
is still kind of on their side. So I think that
Yeah.
that's a
You made
plus.
a great comment about how the characters are not really the focus of this. It really is the idea that we're talking
Hmm.
about corrupt political systems. And
Hmm.
in this case, it's a fractal of bigger systems in the world, right? And there are smaller fractals of these sort of power systems and how people operate on
Right.
the surface and under the surface. And and much
Yates is
much
still a
like
bastard. He just didn't kill that guy,
he just
but he's
didn't kill
still a
that guy.
bastard.
Well,
Yeah.
and what I like about it, we've seen like Rita, the secretary who comes in and tattles on Kathy and
Cindy.
Cindy.
Mhm.
I think it's really interesting because this is not a contained story. This isn't like the murder at the lodge where Buddy Hackett
Hmm.
stabs himself in the back, right? This is a story that represents the system. And so we have all of these legs that don't really seem to go anywhere, but all of those players are necessary. Jessica
Yeah.
would not have confronted Cindy if Rita hadn't come forward and tattled on her, right?
Right.
And Wayne and Yates have very different functions in this system, right? Yates is
Hmm.
the one who is being threatened by Kate in the end, right? Like, well, I
Yeah.
think Wayne he does what he's told.
He'd be a
He's
better
gonna he's
sheriff than you.
he's gonna raise in the ranks if Yates doesn't get that. And we actually know
So step
now,
in line. So step in
yeah,
line. Yeah.
exactly. Because Bruce Davison as David Carroll, the deputy mayor, he's the one pulling the strings, and we know at the end that he's working with Kate, and he will win the mayorship. Yates isn't going to. So there's all of this
Yeah.
conflict and tension, and it represents the bigger system at large. So I remember watching this through in preparation for our episode today for recording, thinking like, well, it's not that. I can't say the clues are that interesting. I can't say any character really stands out, but it really is impactful in a lot of ways. And obviously
Yeah.
bringing up these bigger questions about how the world operates. And I think setting it in a small place like this, small town Idaho, is a really effective way of doing so, rather than New York City or Boston or Los Angeles or San
Where we expect
Francisco.
corruption to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's really successful. Is it my favorite episode? Probably not. I think it's missing levity. I think it's missing fun and a little lightness. Thank God for Mary Windsor as Kate Gunnerson. And I do think Charlene Tilton as Cindy March, the 4'11" secretary, is really fun. And so it's refreshing when they show up on screen. But otherwise, it's a bit of a slog. But
It's a downer.
it's a
It's a
thinker.
downer.
It's a downer, but much like
Because
Powder Keg,
it's
right?
yes, but it's not quite as bleak, I find, as
Right.
Powder Keg, which is why I find it a little bit nicer. And some of that is because of the race stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Some of that is because that's extremely unpleasant to
Hmm.
experience.
It's nice that we
So,
don't have to see, we can, I mean, like you said, they're not minorities aren't represented here. And I'm sure if they were, that would
yeah.
complicate this and mess it up too much for a 48-minute episode of TV. So I
Well,
understand the omissions. And also it's Idaho. So
the thing about the racial elements is that depicting that is important.
yeah.
It obviously isn't, it's obviously necessary for Powder Keg to show where we go with that.
Hmm.
But there's no happy ending to that. There's no brotherhood of man at the end of that episode. The racism
No.
still exists in that
Right.
episode. So we need it to get where we're going, but that's not ever going to come to a conclusion
Right.
in an episode like that.
Right.
No one's going through any real like
Right.
enlightenment there.
In that way,
Um,
Powder Keg is a more realistic story because in this we get happy
mhm.
bows on the end because all the
A
bad
bit,
guys
yeah.
get carted off to state prison, all of them,
Hmm.
every single one of them. Powder Keg,
And
like you said,
Frank
the
Kelso
system is still broken.
is the saddest part of that whole thing.
Yeah,
And the race element is really, again, just kind of an element of storytelling. It's
yeah,
not the plot.
right. Which is why it still exists in the end, which
Right.
is why it doesn't go
Right.
away.
Exactly.
And that's important.
Exactly. And that's one reason I fucking love the show, is because
So
there
good.
is stuff like that when we talk about something as I don't know, I can describe this episode in 4 sentences. But the fact that we can go an hour and a half talking about it,
Hmm.
I think is not just a strength to who we are as analytical,
Yeah,
blabbermouths, but the content is there. The content is there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
final wrap on
I
Star Trek.
think my final lesson is if you get in a car accident, don't just rely on a hot bath. Take some fucking ibuprofen. Jesus, Jessica.
Uh, yes. And you don't have to talk to cops.
Nope.
You can just go to the hospital and carry on your way because just because they're wearing a uniform and they talk with some sense of authority does not mean they actually can stop you from doing anything. They have paperwork to do and they would really rather not do it to have that happen.
That's the damn
So,
truth.
ah,
Yeah. But
they're gonna have, oh God, can you imagine what they are in major flux right now? They lost their sheriff because there's no way Yates is staying on. They lost their mayor, so they still have to deal with that. Now they don't even have a deputy acting mayor. I don't know who comes next in line for that.
yeah, what
Um,
happens?
had Rita not wanted to, it's a real Devil Wears Prada moment. She chose to win. Like she chose
Hmm.
to move ahead by coming
Hmm.
forward about Cindy. That typing pool is going to be really uncomfortable for a while. All
Maybe
kinds of
Cindy is
stuff.
gonna rise the ranks.
Maybe. And now the townspeople don't have access to patio furniture because the warehouse is probably a crime scene.
Where are they gonna
Moving
sit
parts.
outside?
Oh my gosh. Ah,
What are they going to do at a
well,
barbecue? How are they
this
going to make
is
French
again
fries?
season three, as I've told you, ups and downs and whirl arounds. Our next episode is in a completely different direction.
We're going to
Uh,
vibe shift here.
Days Dwindle Down, which is a fascinating
It is
exercise.
so interesting.
And that's the penultimate episode. We have only two more in our series,
Mhm.
which means the postmortem is
The
coming,
postmortem is
everybody.
coming.
Hmm.
You'll have to get your cup of coffee or a hot tea and sit down for a while because
Because
we're going to be talking.
we have spreadsheets, people. I need you to understand. Um, well, a delight as always. Thank you for winding down with me on this, Petra. I really do.
Thank you for a stimulating conversation
This is the
once
most I've
again.
ever talked about this episode. My God. It
Truly,
usually just comes and goes. Well,
I
because it's
fully expected
between
us to be like, yeah, it was good. Bye.
it was fine by like because it's such a I mean every episode in season three is an outlier. But between the
Yeah.
accounting episode and the film flashback episode,
Yeah.
who the hell's talking about the cemetery vote?
This is a skip if you're really trying to get to the goods, right?
It
Theoretically.
is it's not on the greatest hits. It
No.
really isn't,
I gotta
alas.
tell
It's
you,
solid though. I like it more now that we've talked about it.
me too. When I was rewatching it before our recording, I didn't even remember it. I didn't even remember what happened. And of course I've seen it, but I could not grasp a single thing or a single conclusion. So I was kind of watching it for the first time.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I think he'd make a good sheriff, Orville. Yeah. Love it. All right. Well, I'm Victor Devon.
I'm petrified.
And this
And
was
this was
Tonight
Tonight on
on
Murder,
Murder,
She
She
Wrote.
Wrote.
There's only one game. Politics.
That's one
That's
name
what
for it.
you call it.
Another one's getting rich.
Getting rich.
I love her. I love her. Oh, I can't wait till we get to the ladies' murder circle. Oh,
I need
that's the
I
good
need more
stuff
women
too.
in I need more
My
middle-aged
husband
women in
runs
my
a little
life.
print shop.